The week's rhythm culminated in the visit by the working father at the weekend. Social life would center on the outside dance floor. Full employment gave people more money to spend than ever before. For the first time, with the shortage of labor, millions of Americans won the right to vacations with pay. Catskill hotels filled to overflowing.
With the advent of World War II, people started having money. But everybody was paying their bills in cash in those years. And as hard as it was to get sugar and meat and gas, somehow they got it. And sure, those were boom years. But when I came home from the Army, we began to build and expand again. Everybody did. She finally forgave me after I threw the shoes away.
We're gonna hitchhike up to the Catskills. We know the highway, Route 17. We're gonna hitchhike up to the mountains, up to the finest resort we have seen. It ain't but a thing.
The Jews who flocked to the Catskills in the post-war boom represented a new wave. In the Second World War, they had proved their patriotism. They were going to college in larger numbers than ever before. Most of them moved out of the Lower East Side tenements to uptown, the Bronx and Brooklyn, and out to the new garden suburbs of Long Island. They were solidly established in the professions, in business, in law, in medicine, in teaching. Their tastes and goals did not differ much from other Americans of the middle class. The ghetto was only a memory. 2 generations after immigration, these Jews had made it. They were successful and accepted Americans. But come summer, they were still drawn to the mountains.
We're gonna hitchhike up to the Catskills. We know the highway, Route 17. We're gonna hitchhike up to the mountains, up to the finest resort we have seen. It ain't but a finger of a hula soy. Get up the soy, get up the soy. Stop Paris, says you is jada boy. One bill's labor is destroyed. We're gonna hitchhike up to the Catskills.
Pity me, for you were born to be kissed.
Girls who went to the mountains for a vacation were not seeking relaxation. Their aim was far more serious. Their aim was to get a husband.
Here is my heart. Take it
The male was pursued, flattered, pampered until he succumbed. Most desirable were doctors, lawyers, dentists, accountants. A profession meant security.
Van mir wel bij de hoekje kinderlach, sie Winterlach, dat is zijn. Die mannen die we waschen, die Winterlach, die kinderlach, schön und fein. Gott weet, laat het over gekrullet kind, die Kinder zijn dol, ik laat die Weichen kind, je doet kwam men naar rein. De schreef dat hazen, 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 hazen.
Nee, wat is er zijn?
Als ik wat hebben.
Nou, nog te gassen, we toch al eens wat hebben.
Nee, genoeg te gassen en het is bij mij geen geschmierd. Wir zijn bij de honkje kinderlach, die vinden lachen wat ze zijn.
More and more, the key to the success of Catskill resorts lay in the entertainment they offered. It ranged from burlesque to nightclub to Broadway. But it all had its roots in the vigorous Yiddish language theater of the Lower East Side. At smaller places, guests produced their own entertainment, and this made for the special kind of spirit created at Landsman's Bungalow Colony. A warmth and intimacy shared by owners and guests alike. Marty Landsman helped his father run the colony when he came home from the war.
We'd have the pool parties, and we'd have the cookouts, and we just had a fantastic time.
We had a master of ceremonies by the name of Gertrude. We put on our own shows. We entertained ourselves. We had a lot of fun. Had one.
Throughout the mountains, there was a mania for performance. Every adult seemed a frustrated actor, every child a star in embryo.
I think the hotel owners kind of resented the entertainers.
Oh, yeah.
They had a pet name for us. They used to call us umzistige Fressers, which means people who eat for nothing.
Freeloaders.
And we were their entire social arms. We kept their guests happy day and night. And if you couldn't dance with the ladies, you were not hired. You had to be everything to all people. We were the foils. If the dish...
A few miles away at Brown's Hotel, Jerry Lewis was developing his craft.
Well, of course, you know, Jerry Lewis actually grew up with us. Jerry's dad was a singer, MC, and his mother played the piano. And this is where Jerry inherited his talents, but more so. And Jerry didn't live with us in the beginning, but when his grandmother died, his mother and dad came to me and said, I don't know what we're going to do with Jerry. I says, bring him to us. He'll go to school with Alani. And so he did. And we were more like family than employee or employer relationship. And Jerry grew with us, but he was a natural comedian, I think from the minute he was born. Very, very talented. His career was almost instantaneous. At 17, he became one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, in fact, in America, or the world, shall I say.
Over at the Avon Lodge, Sid Caesar worked as a saxophonist and comic. The guests were recruited into nightly shows, light on rehearsal, heavy on improvisation. This proved to be the best possible
City of entertainer as well. And it was basically a family hotel. The mothers and fathers used to come here with their children, and as their children grew up, they came back very loyally. My sister and brother, older than I, used to help out. My sister used to help in the office. My father's domain was the office, and my mother's domain was the main dining room, the kitchen, overseeing all the food that went out. I swam in the lake. That was mine. I swim back and forth across that lake since I'm 9 years old. And when everything was running smooth, I was in the lake. And when things went a little haywire, if somebody quit, if a waitress... But it turned out everybody was envying me because I had all this to come to every summer.
In the lakeside hotel, in the lakeside hotel.
This place brought a lot of dignity to Luxembourg. We only had